If you go to the ArcGIS Server Manager page under Service Properties, you might have seen an option called Lock Database Schema. In this episode, we'll discuss what does that option do and how dangerous is it. Coming up. Good morning, guys, and welcome to another ArcGIS Server Talk episode. Today's topic is this database lock schema option. So, quickly, if you have noticed while going to your geodatabase and trying to do any schema modification, whether adding a physical field to a table, deleting a field, or even doing some sort of logical schema updates like adding a subtype or adding a new domain or deleting a coded value domain or doing some sort of administration stuff, you would notice that if anybody is connected to your enterprise geodatabase, you'd have noticed that sometimes you get a lock. Right? You can say, you cannot do this operation because someone else is connected. And Esri put that for a very good reason. Mainly because changing schema while people are connected is a very dangerous thing. Because when you first connect to a geodatabase, whether from a service or just a direct connect, you kind of start reading all these schema operations or all this schema metadata into your geodatabase, into your client, from your geodatabase to your client, and you start making decisions based on that. The client start making a lot of assumptions based on this schema, right? So that is why it's based. All these decisions are made on that schema. If that schema is changed, the client has to throw everything out and reconnect and pull the latest stuff. And usually Esri does that by forcing you to acquire an exclusive lock. Okay. However, there is an option. There are some workflows that you know that your service doesn't really do any changes, right? It is a read only. And it is fine. It's not going to change anything. It is okay if the user got like a stale field name or an old domain name there, because that service is not going to edit anyway, right? It's not going to make physical changes to your geodatabase. So it's fine to read that. So that's why you have that option. Man, that was a long segue to that option. So that's why we have that option to lock database schema. So it's like, if you uncheck that, and you need to know, you need to be 100% sure that this service is read-only, this service is not going to make any changes. No people can use this application to extract information to an external system and then may base that decision on that, right? Because otherwise you can run into a lot of trouble there. But when you do that, when you uncheck that, it's that service will not acquire a shared lock. So as if no one's really connected, so you can safely add subtypes, add domain, do schema modification stuff essentially. And then you can do that without disconnecting people, right? Because changing a schema is like an event, and it's being done a lot, and you don't want to disturb users, you don't want to disconnect them. So it's like, you know what, I know my service is read-only, people just reading stuff, let them do that. I know that they're not going to edit, they're not going to make any changes on that, they're reading that stuff, it's okay, right? So I'm not going to acquire a shared lock, I'm not going to acquire a schema lock. So if I add a subtype, I know that my users will not see it until the next restart of the service, which will pick up the latest schema, right? So, and that's okay, right? So based on that, if you're confident that you will not affect that, right? So you want to favor your customer, essentially the service being always available versus that there's very minimum risk that it's okay if they got like a stale schema or an outdated domain or they missed a subtype. It's all right, right? It's not a big deal, right? So next restart, whatever this is, scheduled restart or something, you can always do that real quick, right? Like you can schedule a restart real quick. You can balance the restarting of services between different instances if you have load balancing schedule on your web adapter. So that might solve your problem. All right, guys, I rambled a lot there. Sorry about that. But hope you got the idea of this. All right, and I'm going to see you in the next one. You guys have a fantastic week.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.